Keep pushing you away while I want you to stay. Amazing cold as ice, but my heart still beats. When I say no, it's yes. I'm putting you to the test. Can you handle me? Do you have the key? Sorry that I've been.
Hello beautiful people, I am Jane.m and this is Jane.m TV baby. Welcome back to my channel. Please like, share, comment, subscribe and turn on your post notifications so you'll be alerted whenever I post, period. So today I will be working on an amazing dress, and this was a suggestion by my mom because I've been doing a whole lot of tops on here, and there was one that I did. I'm gonna insert it over here, and she said, why don't you make a dress out of it? So I found that House of CB has like a similar like top, Milkmaid top, and then a similar dress. So I decided, let me just go on ahead and do the same thing. So I'll insert my inspiration over here from House of CB. And guys, I'm gonna show you what I did. Oh my god, oh lord, this is the dress that I did, and this fabric here I was sponsored by Kinemaster, and I hope I did you proud because I wasn't sure what to do with your fabric, but this is what we did. This is what we came up with. It has this strings over here. It's ruched on the cups. It has the sleeves here with an elastic, and the skirt is a full circle. I cut it in a full circle, and it has a slit in front. Where's the slit? Okay, slit. Are you gonna show? Oh my god, the slit is missing in action, guys. The slit is missing, but there's a slit here. Oh, here we go. Here's the slit in front. It's lined through and through, and at the back we have an invisible zip. You can't even see it because invisible zip, you're not supposed to see it. So there's an invisible zip at the back. You can see with the thingy over here. But this is the dress that we did. So without really further ado, I'm gonna just let you hop on right into the video. So over here I'm using my size 6 basic block, and I'm drawing my bust radius, which is 3¼ of an inch. So once I am done with that, I am going to contour my dad legs at the bottom with a ½ inch. And then I'm going to take off a ½ inch also on the side seam and lower my armhole 1 centimeter. Then curve a line from the armhole to the bust radius. Now square a line from center front to the side seam and go up 1 inch and in ½ inch. We are beginning to shape our cup. I'm going to lower my dad there 2 centimeters and go up at the waist 5 centimeters. Now you're going to cut the pattern out like that. We are preparing to work on our cup. Now I'm going to fold my dad towards center front and shape my cup at the top. So after this, what we're going to do is to shape the bottom of the cup after labeling our pattern. Now at the side, I'm just going to make it straight there. Right under the bust radius, we are going to square a line straight to center front and go up 3 centimeters at center front and shape our center front panel. Now we are going to go in at the top of the 2 centimeters and slant that line. Now I'm just going to take a darker color cookie pen and just shape my cup. That is my cup. I'm cancelling out all of the dots because I'm not going to use them. Now cutting out the pattern because this is our front pattern. Basically, that's the center front, the side front panel, and the cup. Once we are done, now I'm going to do the regular schmegular slash and spread. By now we all know what we're doing here. I measured that cup and I found out that it was 15 centimeters, so I'm going to spread it 30 centimeters. So I'm just gluing it onto this piece of paper right here. Once I am done here, I'm just going to shape it how I want it to look and cut it out. Basically, this is how the House of CB top I did before looked, but the cup is much bigger here. This is our front pattern. Now moving on to the back, we're going to square a line from center back to the armhole and lower our armhole 1 centimeter and go in 1/2 inch. Now take our front side panel and just balance the side seam. Now I did square both lines at the side seam there to center back. Standard procedure. I feel like we've done this before. I'm just repeating myself, but I just like explaining in every video for other people who don't really know what I'm doing. But if you're not sure what I'm doing, just go back to the other videos that I did prior to this one. It is explained very, very nicely. Now we are done with the back, and this is how it looks, the whole pattern. And this is our fabric. Thank you, Gwena, for giving us this fabric for this week. That's how it looks. It's very lightweight. I don't know the name of the fabric, but it's got those beautiful flowers on it. I'm going to fold it now lengthwise. It's really narrow, so I folded it lengthwise, and I'm going to lay it on there, and we're going to cut a full circle. My waist measurement was a 60 centimeters, and I divided it by 6.28, and I got it 9 point something, so I made it a 10, and I decided to cut it 11 for the sake of side seams. And moving on to the bottom, I do the same thing. Hi guys, so this is like the second day of me doing this dress, and this is the skirt. I cut it in a full circle, and what I used was my waist measurement, which is 60 centimeters divided by 6.28, and that's how it looks. This is how the fabric drapes. And over here I've already cut my slit. This is the side seam. If you see it open here, this is the side seam. Pinky is very thick, so she's thicker than I am, so like that's why there's a space there. Otherwise, over here are my other patterns, my bodice patterns. This is the center front, of course, center back, and the rest of them. And the cup is over here. So what I'm gonna do now is probably fuse all of these pieces, because the fabric is very lightweight, so I want it to be a bit firm and snatching, of course, because corset. And the skirt over here, the reason I let it hang overnight is because I wanted it to drop at the bottom here, so that we can see if I need to trim anything off. But looking at it now, it doesn't seem like it dropped at all. It's still the same size, like shape and everything. So I'm gonna let it be how it is for now. And I want to line it. I want to line it because, yeah, I think you can see my booty behind the whole thing. So basically this is it. Moving on now to the ironing board, I'm just going to lay my lining pieces. I'm double facing as usual, so these are my lining pieces. I'm just going to fuse only them, like I'm not fusing the front, the top facing pieces, just the lining. Now at the sewing machine, what we are doing is stitching the lining together. Stitch, stitch, stitch at 1 centimeters, of course, as per usual. Now stitching the front facing bodice pieces together. When we are done now, we're moving on to the cups, and I'm going to do some basting stitches. As you can see on the sewing machine there, I put my basting stitch at the longest stitch length, which is 5. Now I'm just going to pull and gather so that it fits my cup hole. Pull, 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 pull. And then we are going to pin this onto our bodice pieces, our cup holes. Pin, pin, pin. I love pinning. So now we're going to stitch this, and right at center front, we're going to leave like 1 centimeters because we are still going to join this to our lining pieces. So we need to leave 1 centimeters because we have that opening between the cups. So now I moved on to my benina, and I am going to stitch on my boning onto the lining pieces, and I'm just zigzag stitching it in between like that. And that's how it looks when it's done. Now we're going to join our lining to our front facing bodice piece. So we're going to stitch, actually pin the top part of the bodice pieces together. Pin all the way to the cups. And now we're going to begin at that 1 centimeter that we left before. That's where we're going to begin. Stitch going up, and then turn to the side, and then stitch all the way towards center back. That's basically how you stitch this top part. Done and dusted. Now I decided to go to the ironing board. Of course, I didn't show that part, but after ironing that flat, now we're going to stitch a 1 centimeter at the top of the cups, and then take our unpicker and open up a bit at the side there and on center front. And then we're going to take our loop turner and turn this thing, actually pull it through, and I try to slow it down here so that you can see what I'm doing. So from center front there, I'm going to pull this all the way to the side of the cup on top there, so that we have that ruching. Once it's out, we're going to pull it back inside a bit and top stitch it. Just at the edge there, top stitch it so that it's secure and it doesn't move. That's how it looks when it's all done. Now what I'm doing here is working on the sleeves. Of course, I didn't show how I cut the sleeves. I'm really sorry, but sleeves are really easy to do. But what I'm doing here is inserting the elastic, and what I do is pull and stitch, pull, pull and stitch. We've done this before on the channel, guys. Like, I try to do the same things I do in previous videos so that we get familiar with the methods of finishing and pattern cutting. As long as you can understand those basics, I know we are going to go far. Stick with me. So right here we are working on the skirt lining. We didn't double face here, that would be a waste of fabric. So we are using that white lining and just stitch the side seams. We are leaving center back open. And now we're going to move on to the slit part. Stitch to your desired opening of the slit. I left it pretty high for myself, and we're going to stitch the front or top facing fabric. There we go. Now we're going to join. Actually, before joining the slit, I'm going to mark where I need to end, because they need to be equal sizes. Done. Now we're going to join our skirt at the slit. We need to work on the slit first before we move on to any other part of the skirt or joining the bodice. Pin, pin, pin. Pin and join from the bottom to the top. Do the same for the other side. Pin and stitch. Or rather, I had graduated to not pinning here. Maybe I was tired because it was actually night already. But basically that's what you do. Now I'm just going to join my bodice to my skirt, and I just want to make sure that the right piece is facing the right direction. And there we go. That's the lining, and the bottom part now is the front facing fabric, and I'm going to join it to the front facing skirt. Pin everything together nicely, making sure that the side seam meets the side seam, and yeah, just to be neat. Pin, pin, pin. I'm taking my time, guys, but basically over here, once I was done pinning, I headed off to the sewing machine and joined my bodice to my skirt, and that is all that I did. I don't think I showed me doing the zip this week or the sleeves, but they are pretty simple things to attach. Right now I am stitching the lining pieces. This dress was a joy to work on. I enjoyed it. That's how it looks when it's done. Now what I'm doing here is doing my narrow hem. As you can see, I left a lot of fabric at the bottom, so I'm going to fold like a 4 centimeter and then stitch right on the edge, like a 0.1 away from the edge. Stitch, that's where you will stitch. This is a narrow hem, and we've done a narrow hem on the channel before. Standard procedure. After you're done, just trim off the excess and fold the hem now towards itself and stitch again on top of the previous stitch you did, and that's your narrow hem.